all over, all over the world.
Hello and welcome to the very first, costume video of the year. It's now 2026, yeah, and I'm going to school today. Yeah, this one is quite a legacy one, in a way of, because what you're seeing here, oops, it does struggle, alright, it does struggle, is that this is the first, the very first inflatable costume ever, basically, well, not really ever, I meant like in the consumer wise. But yep, this is the this is the original, basically, the original inflatable T-Rex. And yeah, as you probably noticed, it has definitely problems with its head. It can never really stay up well. Also, this is the first time of using my more special camera now. But I've already made a YouTube post on. So yeah, this is like I will admit there might be some inaccuracies in maybe colour wise, or it being a bit too dark. I'll probably try my best to fix it. I'll try my best to fix it in post, but there might be some little problems for a few videos for this video and the next video. This will have to do for now. But yeah, bear with me on the camera side of things. Anyways, like I said, this is my inflatable T-Rex here, and because of the head so floppy. But yeah, it's got like the hands. It does. I have hid it, but it is one of those where my hand can get out of the gloves and I can have my own hands. The little gloves slit kind of area where you can put your hand through. But yeah, it does have that. Yeah, the arms are a bit small, so it's like you kind of have that T-Rexy kind of like vibe to it, which I guess that's nice. But yeah, like I said, it's thin. It's the head can never ever stay upright fully. I've only ever managed to get the head upright if I super secure like everywhere. Like using a bit of like little tape, right? I have done that in the past, and only then it kind of more acts like the modern inflatable costumes that we have today. Also, the T-Rex is on the phone. It might look weird. But yeah, this is, like I said, this is the T-Rex, and this is also like the last kind of time you're gonna ever see this, actually. So even though it's maybe for some of you it's probably the first time you're seeing this, the original T-Rex, inflatable T-Rex, from, well, like I think it's about 13 to 14 years now. This is how old it is now. It's now 14 years since it was ever produced. If you want to see me do more like wacky stuff in this costume, there will be one more video of this T-Rex, but like I said, this is very much the last time. I'm trying to animate it, but like I said, it's all floppy, all floppy. And it barely inflates. Oh yeah, it's got a tail. I'll try to do that so you can see it very good, but it's probably not working out, and that's now escaped most of the air. But yeah, like I said, this is the inflatable T-Rex, and yeah, when I bought it long ago, which was also and I also bought it long ago, which was also the sort of the beginning of me doing this, hobby and interest. Yeah, I really did. I did quite like this, but I will admit, But yes, this costume has aged poorly. But you know, like I said, it's a bit of a relic now. It's like, hey, this is where it all started. You know, this is the costume that started it all, and you know, where most of all you love all these inflatable costumes that I've bought over the years. But yeah, this is like it. Now, but yeah, I don't really have much to really show you or, you know, do in this costume, because like I said, it is a bit, like I said, it is kind of a relic, and because I'm also going to put it on, you know, like get rid of it, even though I might change my mind in the future, but for now I'm still content on saying goodbye to this costume, you know. Anyways, I'm gonna pass it to, I'm now gonna show you the inside of this costume, what it looks like, and then we'll do the review a bit of course, and then, well, that's the end of this costume review basically. Yeah, there are the eyes. It is a bit taller than me, I will admit. There is the eyes, there is, ooh, go a bit further back. This is not the GoPro, by the way. I probably will do this for the GoPro one day, in a couple of videos in the future. Don't worry about that, but like I said, I'm just trying to get more used to it and everything. You've got little tongue, very little. You can kind of wiggle that. You can just about see the teeth. Oh yeah, you can really get an idea. Like look at the light, how it passes through so easily. Kind of like wiggle the mouth with the actually you probably do it with that kind of movement better. But yeah, doing a kind of a pinch kind of works the best in this one, kind of, because basically two hands will. Oh, what am I doing? For a moment I just lost my train of thought and just like, oh, I put my hand there. But yeah, it's probably best with two hands. It's got the two windows, the one at the top and one at the bottom. So even though this was also the very first inflatable costume, it was also the first to add a more of a lower window, so you can like see like kids under you basically, as you can see. You can see the feet. Also it uses the sheets. Ooh, it's a bit hard to see. But yeah, that's what it looks like inside. And like I said, you got the front panel, but like I told you, it's like this happens where it's like the head just flops in front of you, so you can't really see anyway. It's right under the arm, so it's like when you pull your arm out to get something out of that little pocket, it's very easy because it's just there. Unlike most other costumes where it's like somewhere else, you know, like a bit further or behind, all that stuff. The costume is a bit deflating now, so I need to speed it up. There is also the zipper. Yeah, the zipper is on the front of the costume. The leg area, as you can see, is probably the most widest of the area of the costume. Like I said, that's probably to try support it, and then down that way would be the tail. Like I said, it goes quite kind of deep because it is a bit of a long tail, but it's just it just matches, it just connects right up to where the legs connect as well, so it's that kind of low down tail. But like I said, the whole area is quite large. It's quite a large start to the tail, and then it thins as it goes along. And oh, we've still got the light on, fair enough. Yeah, if I show you like this, it's like the hand is like that, you know, it's just a kind of a half glove in a way, where you can, like I said, get your hand out through the hole. It's now inflating. Now it's re-inflating, it's getting a bit harder, but yeah, you know, you can get your hand out, and like I said, of course your thumb will go in there, into there, and like I said, it works, alright? It is time for the pros and cons. The pros? Well, this one's a bit of a minor pro. It depends how you look at it, because it is subjective, this one. But the tiny arms of, you know, the length of it, helps even you the wearer able to sell the fact that you are playing a T-Rex role. And, you know, because, you know, the arms are kind of short, so, you know, like reaching like outwards, you kind of do have to do sort of, you know, you know, your arms are mainly just sort of halfway reached out and not fully extended in this costume, and it's the only costume I know which even has these kind of like shorter arms anyway. So like I said, it's kind of like authentic in terms of, you know, how we know how we pictured dinosaurs anyways, because it's not, dinosaurs are not actually, you know, like that as far as we know. Anyways, also the gloves, while being partially poor, I will admit, does make things grabbable compared to many other inflatable like hands of these costumes I've had over the years. So yeah, this one, like I said, you can really like grab things in. It's not too slippery, unlike others and all that stuff. And that's probably because it's just more of a sheet that goes over your hand, and it's not it's not a whole like inflatable hand or all that. So that's probably why. And of course, if you ever want to use your own hands, you can pop it out. You know, you can pop out your own hands and use your hand normally whenever you want. Another pro is what I've showed you not too long ago, of that they have put the battery box pocket right under the armhole. So this makes it much more easy to, of course, you know, grab things out of the pocket, even if you don't put the battery box in it and just put whatever anything in it. Like I said, it's still quick, easy in access to it. You know, just sort of have to pull your arm a bit. You know, pull your arm a bit. It will be your right arm. And there you go, you've got your little miniature pocket in there. Of course, you know, you could pull your arm all the way and just use your own pockets, but you know, if you just want a pocket that's more easier to get to and quicker, then yeah, like I said, they did a good job at putting the pocket there. And yeah, it is the universal kind of size pocket that they do. Now it's time for the cons. For first con, the material used is so thin that one bright sunny day is enough to reveal your body within the suit fully to, you know, any onlookers easily. It really doesn't take much light passing through to do this, by the way, but I was just using a nice sunny day as sort of the worst case scenario for this issue to be as glaring as it is, because trust me, it really is. Like, you know, if I recorded this more brighter, you definitely would have probably seen more of my outline inside of the costume itself. Also, due to its lack of thickness of the layer of the material used for this costume, it is also quite acceptable for damages, because, you know, it's more easy to get in a hole and then it really just ruins the whole costume easily. And well, it's not quite connected in a way, but I still want to mention it. But of course, you know, of course, in the cold weather, it's going to be hardly keeping you mildly warm in it, because most of these inflatable costumes only keep you warm, only keep you kind of nice and warm to a certain degree, because, you know, they are inflatable and they're like, you know, you got a whole fan blowing at you and all that. But in this one, yeah, you know, in the cold weather, you're definitely gonna feel like you're not really wearing anything around you, is the point. And another con is, well, it is also very floppy with the head, which you've already seen and I've already talked about it in the footage. But yeah, because it so flops a lot, it gets in your view, and you have, you know, you sort of have to like bend. You sort of have to bend more backwards all the time to keep the head more out the way. But yes, doesn't look very good with the T-Rex almost always looking to the sky then forward. But you know, it's like how can you walk around with the head always blocking your view all the time? It's like one moment you can see, the next it's like, oh no, it's flopped over to the side, or I mean, you know, in the front of you, and you can't really see at all anymore. And the last con I would like to mention is, not only was this one of the very first inflatable costumes for the everyday consumer use anyways, but it was also
It was also the first to use those flappy sheets for the foot design cover. Just a little thin sheet that goes over your feet or shoes, depending on how you're wearing it. This is also one of the most dangerous ones, because it is so wide and long that it makes tripping up on this little thin sheet more easier than others that also do the thin sheet cover. Because it's still a thing to this day, even though we have proven that we don't need to use that kind of design anymore. We can have more inflatable foots now. We have improved upon on the inflatable costume design choices, but of course to this day we still have these thin little sheet feet designs. Now my final verdict on this costume, it is going to be a 1 out of 10. I will say this, when this came out, this was totally more of a 5 out of 10, because yeah, it was novel and it was quite kind of cool back then, because yeah, you just couldn't, at the time you definitely couldn't find a Halloweeny costume like this ever. This was really a first of its time, a new era of costumes, which it really has been. As I said this twice already, this suit has just aged poorly, alright? There are far better suits out there, and I don't mean to disrespect more of the I don't mean to disrespect other costume makers out there, because there are still good ones out there, but those who have been selling these inflatable T-Rex costumes have turned this quite important, well, only in the costume sense anyways, inflatable costume into this cheap mass-made slop. It is a shame for me to say that, but it is mainly true, because this legacy has just been tarnished. It's like, it's just turned into this, like, oh, here's a colourful one, here's this one. We haven't really been improving on that, to the point I would definitely say that even though this is a 13 to like 14-year-old costume that I have, right, I have still basically reviewed almost any of the inflatable T-Rexes you've ever seen to a point, because I think they have improved in some small ways, but basically what you see in this costume is pretty much what you see in most newer inflatable T-Rex costumes to this day now.
It's time to say goodbye to you all, Chaptor, and you know what that means? It means it's time to go goodbye. I hope to see you in whatever video that will be. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna move it to the one. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know the very first costume I'm reviewing isn't super great looking and all that stuff, and it has flaws and that. But like I said, what can I do? I was going to do this last year, but I didn't get round to doing this. But now I have. And like I said, now this is on the. I'm now going to have to do one more video, and then basically I won't be wearing this ever again. But yeah, that is just done for now. Yeah, bye bye.